We head into Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania on the campus of Lehigh University at Goodman Stadium for today's Keystone rivalry matchup between Bethlehem Steel FC and the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Thanks for joining us, everybody, on this spectacular Saturday evening. Tyler Terrens joined alongside by Albert Munoz, and it should be a fantastic game. Albert, Pittsburgh have been troubling to find consistency. On the other hand, Bethlehem, a 7-match unbeaten streak, looking to keep it rolling. And for Bethlehem, one man they're going to have to keep an eye on to keep the streak alive is Corey Herzog.
Corey Herzog, one of my favorite players in the league so far. Such a speed striker, very technical player. He has 6 goals this season so far. He's going to be the point man tonight for Pittsburgh.
Herzog got off to an extremely fast start at the beginning of the season, only 1 goal in his past few matches, and he'll be looking to celebrate a lot this afternoon at Goodman Stadium for Dave Brandt in his first full season with the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, and for Bethlehem with a number of players out with the Philadelphia Union in their friendly against Swansea. Chris Nanko is going to be the man up top.
He's on fire. He's coming off a goal from last game. Speedy striker, he's stocky, he's very technical, he's going to create a lot of space, he likes to hit the ball up front and chase after it. He's going to be an exciting player to watch tonight.
Nanko, a former standout at Syracuse University, the Canadian, very quick up top and will be the point man on top of that 4-5-1, 4-3-3, however you'd like to see it. But first we'll take a look at the starting lineups, beginning with Dave Brandt and the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Traditional 4-4-2 here, Albert.
Oh yeah, very conservative. For the 4-4-2, traditionally you have a lot of midfield action, you have a lot of wide play, a lot of flank play, always looking for that cross for Herzog and Walsh.
Herzog and Walsh will also be looking to provide that pressure up top. Dave Brandt's teams really like to press high up the field. Look for Parks, Herzog, and Walsh to provide that pressure for Pittsburgh. And on the other side, for Bethlehem, we mentioned that friendly that the Philadelphia Union have against Swansea. None of the Union players dressing for Bethlehem, so an extremely young squad in addition to Burke and Kone unavailable.
Tyler, that's going to bring a lot of energy, a lot of obviously cohesion, a lot of youth, a lot of energetic play. All of these players trying to prove and trying to obviously make their use of their time as best as possible. A lot of attacking play from Nanko and Hurd.
Nanko, Moar, and Samuel will be the players up top to look for. When we come back, it's going to be Bethlehem Steel looking to keep the 7-match unbeaten streak alive. Pittsburgh looking to break things up here at Goodman Stadium. We'll be back in a moment.
Shh. Can you feel it? That vibe. It's here on America's best beaches. Feel it in unique mashups of amazing, crazy, and wow. So within every moment, you live amplified. St. Pete Clearwater, solar powered and radiating 1,000,000 megawatts of possibility. Dive in deeper at liveamplified.com.
The Lehigh Valley's largest selection of new and certified pre-owned vehicles in one location is Rothrock. We have over 1,000 vehicles to choose from, an award-winning service team, ultra-modern facilities for comfort and convenience, and the best deals in the Valley. During the Drive and Discover event, drive Ram Bighorn Crew Cab or Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Sport, your choice, only $249 a month. That's right, Ram or Wrangler, only $249 a month at Rothrock. Rothrock, Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, family-owned and operated for over 57 years. Rothrock, where the cars are.
The first soccer ball was kicked in Bethlehem in 1904. Now, 112 years later, it's time for the rebirth of Bethlehem Steel FC. Herbert's in the box, and there's the first goal in Steel FC history. For tickets, visit BethlehemSteelFC.com or call 844-STEEL-FC.
You've lived with it for too long. That recurring joint or muscle pain that makes everyday tasks a strain and repetitive movement almost impossible. Why put it off? The sooner you seek treatment, the more options you'll have. The faster you'll be back in full stride. The latest non-surgical solutions. The region's only nationally ranked program. That's Orthopedics in Action at Lehigh Valley Health Network.
Back here at Goodman Stadium on the campus of Lehigh University in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. A spectacular Saturday evening. And why not play some football on this fine Saturday evening here in the Lehigh Valley? Bethlehem and Pittsburgh to do battle for all 3 points, or perhaps they'll come away with 1 point apiece. Bethlehem has failed to surrender all 3 points in their last 7 matches, a 7-match unbeaten streak, 4 wins rather, along the way, a few draws. They have been in superb form, and Brendan Burke, the head coach for Bethlehem, has just been extremely impressed with their resiliency. He said that 3-game road trip a few weeks ago was really the turning point, and what he thought to be was the telltale sign that this team was a lot different than last year's side, who ended up squandering a playoff spot a year ago. And for Pittsburgh on the other side, as we are underway here at Goodman Stadium, Pittsburgh has been struggling to find their form, particularly offensively, Albert, and they're going with the traditional 4-4-2 today, and like they have been all season. What's the key to success in a 4-4-2?
Well, strangely enough, I watched this team, and I called it one of their first early games this season, and I found them very entertaining to watch. They had a lot of attacking prowess, and a player like Herzog, that we mentioned, who's our player to watch, brought a lot of the action to Pittsburgh's side here. So it's a little strange to see that they haven't been able to be more attacking-minded, being that they have such quality players up top.
Only 3 games with more than 1 goal this season for Dave Brandt's side. And they have been few and far in between, as Bethlehem starting out with a little bit of possession here. Goes up the sideline for Wingate. Driving towards the middle of the pitch. Looking for an option. Still Wingate with some neat footwork. Still being poked around. That was Sentimar getting in on it, as Bethlehem have an extremely young lineup tonight, Albert, and with the friendly that the Philadelphia Union are playing against Swansea this weekend, Brendan Burke said that it was just the way that it was going to be, with none of the Union players who normally dress, the Fabian Herbers, the Ken Tribbets, who usually give them a lot of support and a lot of experiences. There's a foul and a set-piece opportunity for Pittsburgh, but it's a great opportunity for these youngsters in Bethlehem to get some good minutes. Absolutely.
I mean, as a former player who signed at a very young age, it was all enthusiasm. It was just love for the game. You know that at 16 to 18 years old, it's pure energy. If you have these chances to come in at a professional level and make a difference for your team, I mean, obviously that's the goal.
Kevin Kerr on top of this free kick for Pittsburgh. Veteran Scotsman looking to get Pittsburgh up on the board early here on a set piece. Cut out by the first defender. Now Sentimar leading the break the other way for Bethlehem. Long ball sent ahead for Chris Nanko. That's the way he likes it. He wants balls sent into space and to be able to just run onto it and use his pace up top.
Oh yeah, they know his strategy. Obviously, those long passes is what he wants. And this is a beautiful pitch. Tyler, I always have to mention, as a former player, you always strive to have obviously a great field to play on. And these players have the luxury to play on this soil that's just spectacular. Rare do you see mistakes, obviously because of bounces off the ball. So it just equates to perfect and sound passing.
Samuel trying to slide it through. Wingate trying to get there. He gets a touch to it, and last touch is off of Pittsburgh, so will be a corner for Bethlehem, the first of the evening for either team. Fans, stay up to date on the latest USL news and information from around the league. Tune into USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on SiriusXM FC, Channel 85. Also, don't forget, SiriusXM FC will air the USL Game of the Week. Please check USLsoccer.com for dates and times. So the first corner of the evening for either team. It's Chris Wingate, the Norwegian, on top of it for Brendan Burke's side. He'll like to play short. Spaniard, Sentimar with a nice little fake, driving towards the byline. It's a good ball in. Samuel gets ahead to it. It's saved initially. Wingate, his opportunity is over the bar. A great chance here just inside at 3.5 minutes. Broom comes up with a huge save. Not even sure if he saw it.
Sentimar just making an impact just right off the bat. The first few minutes have been all him. He's grinding that ball on the left-hand side, as you mentioned, the Spaniard. Very technical on the ball. Great cross, exceptional pass. Hopefully we see here some more action here from the Spaniard.
Well, it was a spectacular save from Kiesel Broom, the 25-year-old out of Claymont, Delaware. And he has been in superb form as of late. This is his 5th start of the season. Trey Mitchell was the original starter for the season. And it seems as Broom has sort of played his way into that starting keeper position, as he won Team of the Week honors a couple of weeks ago after a shutout against the Tampa Bay Roundies, a 2-0 win for the Riverhounds.
He's definitely earned his minutes. Now, talking about formations here, you see a clear opportunity here by Kerr, Pittsburgh. Great chance. But going back to that talk, when you have a team that's playing 4-4-2 against a team that's playing 4-3-3, obviously the advantage on the midfield side is for Pittsburgh. You have obviously congestion, you have more possession. But at the same time, you're giving up that chance to be more spontaneous going forward. So Herzog is a player that needs to step up today and really hold the ball and create. On the other hand, obviously Bethlehem, with the energy that they have and all the youth players up top, the aggressive-minded play is going to take place. So Mora's definitely taking action right off the bat and connecting well with his players. So Tyler, we're going to see a lot of action today. It's going to be entertaining.
Well, Herzog certainly needs to step up. His last goal came just a month ago against Orlando City B. It was a 2-1 loss at home at Highmark Stadium, in which Corey Herzog last scored. It's been the likes of Romeo Parks and Siobhan Walsh who have been providing the offensive spark up top. And for such a seasoned veteran goal scorer and somebody that Brendan Burke has a ton of respect for, somebody that he's known since Herzog was about 15 or 16 years old, coming up through the Pennsylvania soccer system, as Walsh getting it over to Herzog with a nice little touch to skip away from pressure. Herzog towards the back post, looking for Kerr. Brought down for Walsh, back for Kerr again. Kerr with one fake to get Raymond in the air, sends it all the way across. And Herzog will be unable to keep this in play. However, his last touch off of Bethlehem.
That was well developed here by Pittsburgh. Everyone had a touch on the ball. Herzog obviously cut in well, making sure that everyone spreads and gets a touch. So exceptional touch so far. I mean, obviously the first 5 minutes have been both sides. Obviously possession has been, earned and fought. So hopefully we'll continue with some attacking chances here for Bethlehem.
Here's Josh Hurd sending it out wide for Nanko. Back for James Chambers. Chambers looking for an option. Flips it over for Moar. Moar 1v1 here. Driving towards the middle with a nice move. Still Moar. Moar inching closer, and Broom coming off of his line. It's still loose. And it will eventually be a foul on Santi Moar. Kiesel Broom doing a good job coming off of his line, but fantastic footwork from Moar, just dizzying the defender.
Yeah, Santi Moar related to Messi, because I mean he was putting on some feints here, excellent attempts. He's been the player that's making an impact in the first 5 minutes.
And that was the Pittsburgh defender Shannon Gomez, who he was working on, the loanee from NYCFC. Made his debut on the 4th of July, a little over a week ago now. And he's on loan with the Riverhounds for the rest of the season. So a nice little addition, but a giveaway there from Chambers. And here comes Pittsburgh the other way. A shot blocked in front by Hugh Roberts. And he did well, as it was a great opportunity for Chevy Walsh.
Those are the chances that Pittsburgh is going to take advantage of. Obviously, those turnovers are very, very important. Bethlehem needs to make sure that they correct those mistakes.
Soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit nikesoccer.com. Here's Victor Soto going over the top. Matt Real, the 18-year-old, cutting it out. Fight for the ball in the middle of the park. Pittsburgh comes away with it. Back for Herzog, going for goal, and it just fizzes wide. It was a good opportunity. And with the 16-year-old goalkeeper in net for Bethlehem, Thomas Romero, who is the youngest player ever to see minutes between the sticks for any USL side, Pittsburgh feeling that they might have some luck from distance today.
Well, I mean, he's 16 years old. He doesn't have a lot of experience, but what an experience he's going to get today just by playing minutes at these levels. Players like Herzog, obviously Kerr, who have seasons under their belt, they're going to make sure they take advantage of his youth. So hopefully he steps up to the plate.
Goes out wide for Moar again. He's been very busy in the opening 8.5 minutes. The veteran out of Ireland, Chambers, spraying it out wide for Matt Real, the 18-year-old who will play his college ball at Wake Forest next season. Real finding Chambers in space. Chambers with a heavy touch. It's poked away, and Chambers called for the foul there, as it was a good step from Jamal Jack, the center back for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds.
I think Chambers just deliberately just pushed them. He just pushed them off. Interesting tackle there by that Irishman.
You see again, just a bit of a heavy touch from Chambers. And Jamal Jack receiving the worst of that tackle. Jack has been probably the only mainstay at the back for Dave Brandt. They've sort of had a revolving door at the center back position next to Jamal Jack. We've seen the likes of Agbasamade as well as Joe Greenspan, who was on loan for the Riverhounds for a month, was nominated for USL Player of the Month, but now is back with Minnesota United. But it's really tough, Albert, as I'm sure you know, having played, and well, although you were more of an attacking player, when you have center backs who are constantly rotating, it's tough to find that chemistry. Oh,
absolutely, especially with goalies. I mean, goalkeepers always want to have their core set in place, so they have obviously a lot of cohesion. But yeah, I mean, when you have an ever-changing back line, even for your attacking players, you know, it just disrupts the mainstay, obviously the mindset. Obviously, you want to have players week after week, which becomes obviously your family. So you want to make sure that everyone gets along, everyone's obviously playing well. So it's important to have some kind of consistency in your lineup.
Romero with good distribution to find Samuel. However, he gives it away.
All the while, it's very important to make sure that the players that do step up and come into the lineup do an exceptional job, so there won't be that much disruption in your team week after week.
Well, that's something that can be said for this Bethlehem team, and while they have that partnership with the Philadelphia Union, their lineup is constantly changing, even more so than Pittsburgh, who have been bitten by the injury bug for the first half of this season. But Bethlehem, with this partnership with Philadelphia, it's not as if it's two completely different teams. You know, Jim Curtin and Brendan Burke have offices in the same building. You know, they see each other constantly, so it's just a great relationship, and they've done such a great job of balancing out the needs of all the players, and players from the Union coming down, getting minutes, being ready for the first team, and players like James Chambers, who step in and may not be getting minutes with the Philadelphia Union, but providing that leadership and that mentality for the younger guys to be able to succeed. And that's what he sees has been the difference, is that little sprinkle of veteran leadership amongst the younger players. That's the recipe for success.
It's highly important, and that's something that's changed in the last 15 years. My time, the MLS obviously was the only team, the only league, and you didn't have those minutes available to you as a young player. Obviously, you had to play during practice, and then you had to make it in the first team. If not, you weren't getting consistent minutes at a high level. So this partnership obviously is the big picture situation, which is the most important aspect. You only want to care about how important it is for the future of these players.
As Gomez unable to get that one, and the USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date with all the latest league news and information by visiting www.uslsoccer.com and follow them on Twitter @USL.
So far, Tyler, I mean, I would say possession-wise, both these teams have had their chances. They're holding the ball well. They're obviously looking for their feet. Everyone's gotten a touch at this point. You're only 12 minutes in, which is typically the time frame when you start settling down. Obviously, all the energy slows down. But I would say, so far, Pittsburgh has a little bit of an edge just by holding the ball a little bit more and creating a couple more chances.
Soto and Kerr linking up. Now it's along for Shannon Gomez, the loan from NYCFC, driving forward. Here's Kerr again. Going out wide for former Bethlehem Steel man Taylor Washington. Washington 1v1 with Samuel. It's back for Romeo Parks again. Chambers doing a good job of just swarming Siobhan Walsh there. Nanko bringing it down. And Bethlehem will try to play out of pressure here. Chambers sending it along and hoping for a teammate to run onto it. It's a good job here, but it is going to be a foul on the Bethlehem man, Josh Hurd, who's doing a good job of giving Adewale some trouble.
Yeah, I definitely like his pressure there. I mean, he fought the whole run through. He almost outpaced them. Then, unfortunately, he got a little physical there. So, great run, great try here to actually beat the defender. And he followed through until he heard the whistle.
Bethlehem has been extremely direct in the opening 13.5 minutes, and that's, I guess, a testament to their style of play, but as well as just the opening 15 minutes of a match, you want to just sort of feel out the opponent, maybe try to stretch them a little bit, create some space in the middle of the field.
Absolutely, and surprise them. I mean, maybe get a shot off and score right off the bat. I mean, that's ideal. I mean, you get that edge in the beginning, the first 15, 20 minutes. That's going to make a huge difference for the rest of the game.
It's a nasty challenge right at the back as a Pittsburgh player went to ground and clipped the Bethlehem defender. And it was Corey Herzog, as it will come all the way back. And it looked like it was Hugh Roberts who got the worst end of that. Hurd over for Real again. 8 appearances and 7 starts this season for Matt Real, who made his debut a little over a month ago now. and has really become a steady Eddie at the back for Brendan Burke. Soto with a nice touch into space for Gomez. Gomez with lots of pace running onto it. Raymond retreating. Now it's Kerr overlapping. It's along for Kevin Kerr. Kerr sending it in, but it's always going over the bar. And a man of that quality delivers much better service than that more times than not. That's probably the worst delivery you'll see from Kevin Kerr all evening, possibly all season.
Definitely, that was a little unfortunate. That was a great run, great development. Obviously, everyone touched the ball from the back. Great wide touch. But unfortunately, Kerr came out a little short. I mean, I'm sure if he just got a little tired on that run, but it happens, and not frequently from him. He brings a lot of quality, but it does happen on occasion when you have that missed touch.
A pass from Hurd, skipping away from Chambers, and Pittsburgh will be able to reclaim possession. Pittsburgh coming off a 1-1 draw against OCB last week, and then a 3-1 loss against the Charlotte Independents, who are absolutely red hot at the moment. They're actually leading New York Red Bulls 2-0 at the moment at halftime as well. So they're looking for their 6th straight win, as they have just hurled themselves into the top 3 in the Eastern Conference. Bethlehem right now sitting in 5th place, Pittsburgh in 11th, but with the way that the bottom of the table is made up in the Eastern Conference, 1 or 2 wins and you're right back into the playoff situation if you're a team like Pittsburgh. Here's Moar. Chambers with great interplay. Samuel leaving it off for him, but Soto did a good job of breaking it up.
Going back to your comment, Tyler, every game counts at this point. Every single play counts. So it's very, very important that all these players are sharp, make sure there's no mistakes in the midfield, especially no turnovers, and try to capitalize on every opportunity going up. All these players have high quality level, so they obviously know how to strike, they know how to score, they have a lot of experience. Everyone obviously has been playing at least 5 to 10 games during the season already, so there's no excuse at this point.
Well, with the exception of Thomas Romero in goal for Bethlehem, all of the Steel members in the starting 11 have at least started in 3 or 4 games. Romero just his 2nd game of the season. He started the first one against the Rochester Rhinos, a 3-2 loss. As Samuel and Nanko not exactly on the same page there, and it'll be a goal kick for Kiesel Broom. Bethlehem again on a 7-match unbeaten streak, taking down the likes of Harrisburg City, New York Red Bulls 2 twice, the reigning USL Cup champions. They beat the team from Montclair State University 2-0 without the likes of Hugh Roberts, Sekou Kone, and Corey Burke. Sekou Kone out with an injury, an MCL sprain, and Corey Burke on international duty with Jamaica in the Gold Cup. Jamaica now tied in their group with Mexico atop the group. And it's such a great experience for Corey Burke at 21 years old to be able to go play for his country. And while he hasn't seen action in a game yet, he is just such a great player. And Brendan Burke says that he deserves nothing but the best in terms of his international duties. And it's great. It's a great look for Corey Burke. It's a great look for Bethlehem, and it's a great look for the league. Absolutely.
And even I was going to mention, even if he doesn't get any minutes, it's just that experience, just being in that locker room, obviously the stadium, the games, just feeling it. Obviously, you're going to have a lot of experience coming back. And even if he does get some minutes, obviously hopefully they're quality minutes for him, and he gets that exposure, he's going to come back a different player. And every single time all of these players in the USL play at different international levels, it's just only going to improve the entire level of the nation. U.S. national team's obviously going to improve because all these players that go to the U.S. national team, they have that experience. So it's a big picture situation, and obviously it's looking bright.
It's a heavy challenge in the middle of the field from Adewale, and Chris Nenko is down. As Lauren Varga is going to have a conversation with Toby Adewale, who's not exactly, or rather that was Jamal Jack who committed the foul.
Yeah, I was going to say that looks like Jack, and he's a presence. He's one player you don't want to go up on a header challenge, an aerial challenge with him.
Chris Nanko trying to shake off the challenge from Jamal Jack as Lauren Varga will let us resume play here.
Nanko's a tough player. He's bouncing back really well.
Nanko with 2 goals and an assist on the season, had the game winner against New York Red Bulls 2 last weekend, and here it is sent into space for the speedy former Syracuse man as he wins a throw in deep in Pittsburgh territory.
The way I see it, more linking up with Nanko up top, I mean, it could be a very dangerous partnership.
Good ball in from Moar. Chambers taking it on the volley. Broom with a spectacular save. What a chance from James Chambers. It was a Sensational ball from Santi Moar, and Chambers almost with the goal of the year.
What an exceptional play here by Moar, and even better finish. What a strike by Chambers. That's the ideal type of strike you want when you have that mentality of attacking players. The one-time shot, the aerial ball, the volley. That's always been my favorite type of shot. Obviously, when the ball's bouncing and you have that confidence. Chambers has had experience. He came in. He knew very well it was going to bounce in his right leg, right foot. Exceptional attempt.
Well, that's the thing with the first-time volley too, especially with the ball coming over your shoulder like that. It's extremely difficult to take, but he didn't hit it as hard as he can. He simply locked his ankle and he put his foot on the ball. Correct. Most importantly,
he followed through it, and he hit it on target, which is very difficult to do. So that angle was very tough.
Kieselbroom with 2 massive saves inside the first 20 minutes, as he has denied Josef Samuel as well as James Chambers now, as Bethlehem have certainly been knocking on the door. Like you said earlier, Albert, Pittsburgh has probably had the better of possession, but Bethlehem, when they've gotten forward, they've looked extremely dangerous.
They've been a little bit more efficient, absolutely. And again, I go back to the player where it all stems from.
Parks with a strike. Oh, it's off the crossbar.
I retract my words. What an exceptional shot here. Wow.
End-to-end action here at Goodman Stadium. We'll take another look.
Crossbar, wow. It's incredible shot. What a great setup here. Oh, he almost hit it upper 90. Exceptional attempt. I'll tell you what, Romero got pretty close to getting a hand on that for the 16-year-old. So exceptional attempt here to block that powerful shot from Pittsburgh.
Here's Moar again, putting on the moves. Moar towards the byline, sends it across, and it's headed away. Herzog leading off for Kerr, and Pittsburgh will be able to take a deep breath. I guess both teams can sort of take a collective breath here, as it has been a dizzying amount of action.
I think it's highly needed. But before Romeo Parks took that exceptional shot, I was going to mention that Santi Moar so far has impressed me thoroughly. He's very sharp on the ball. He's technical. He's very aggressive. He creates, which is what we lack sometimes here. Players, they have the tendency to obviously play it safe, but he is very creative, so we're going to see a lot of action. And if he partners up again, like I mentioned before, if he's constantly playing the ball well and he's linking up with Nanko, we could definitely see a couple goals tonight from Bethlehem.
Fans, stay up to date on the latest USL news and information from around the league. Tune into USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Sirius XM FC Channel 85. Also, don't forget, Sirius XM FC will air the USL Game of the Week. Please check USLsoccer.com for dates and times. This one sent ahead again for Chris Nanko, as Adewale turning away from him, and Pittsburgh will maintain possession. Bethlehem looking to press a bit higher up the field now. Soto. Kerr. Long for Gomez again, who's getting involved in the Pittsburgh attack. Samuel does well to cut that one out, but Romeo Parks up with a strong header. And Danny Earle's able to maintain possession for this Pittsburgh team. First time these two Keystone rivals have met this season. They'll meet up 2 more times. They are dead even in terms of all-time series. Bethlehem just in their 2nd season of existence in this version of the USL, as Gomez coming the other way. Gomez towards the byline, sends it across, and there's the finish. And it's Siobhan Walsh for Pittsburgh who gets the Riverhounds off the schneid. It's an extremely well-worked goal from Pittsburgh. They have a 1-0 lead over Bethlehem.
Very well-deserved play here. Pittsburgh, Gomez, as we mentioned, exceptional right flank play and perfect pass. I mean, that's the type of pass you want from your flank player. Always diagonally back for any incoming striker. And Walsh took care of it. He slotted it in the corner. Exceptional finish.
Romero unable to get over, and the loan from NYCFC, Shannon Gomez, proven to be worth it here, as he did extremely well. Looks as if Charlie Raymond was a little bit too far away from Gomez over on the sideline. It was a decent move from Gomez to get towards the end line, but at the same time, Raymond was about 5 or 6 yards away.
Yeah, you can't give that space up. I mean, obviously, when you have that type of caliber player on the loose in the strike zone, I mean, it's going to be very difficult to stop that goal.
And here comes Bethlehem right away, coming the other way. Nanko trying to send that ball across. It takes a deflection, and it will be a corner for the Steel.
Lots of energy so far. It's a to and fro, back and forth, forward game. Both sides are seeing a lot of action. There's a lot of highlights so far. I mean, exceptional opportunities, great shots, great quality.
Siobhan Walsh scoring his 3rd goal of the season in the 24th minute. Bethlehem looking to answer here off this corner. Chambers on top of it. It's a good ball in. Walsh nods it away. Manko just flicking it back in, looking for Hugh Roberts, who is onside. Roberts bringing it down. Still Hugh Roberts. Sends it across. It's a good ball, the diving header. And it is going to be a high foot, and it will be a penalty to Bethlehem.
Interesting play here by Bethlehem. Great cross. Chambers is now he dove for that header. And that's just a very, very close call. But the referee saw it as a penalty kick.
And that's an extremely tough call to make if you're Lauren Varga, because Chambers is diving for the header and putting himself basically level with Soto's foot.
Exactly. That's always been a controversy. I mean, Soto, he literally just lifted his leg to kick the ball out. It wasn't intentional. It wasn't a dangerous kick, in my eyes at least. So I guess Bethlehem took the favor here, and they have an opportunity to tie the game up.
Well, James Chambers certainly won't argue with the call, as he has an opportunity now to level things at 1 from 12 yards away.
I wonder if he'll be able to take the kick properly after getting kicked in the head.
You're always looking out for the attacker, aren't you? What about Victor Soto's foot?
Absolutely.
Chambers with 3 goals on the season, looking to make it 4 and level it at 1. James Chambers steps up, and he buries it. Within minutes of going down a goal, Bethlehem get leveled by a James Chambers from the penalty spot. 1-1 at Goodman.
Very well struck penalty kick here by Chambers. The experienced midfielder had a very good shot, nice and low, down to the post. Fortunately, Broom couldn't reach it. He's a little frustrated there because he did pick the side right, which is obviously half the battle as a goalkeeper. But when you shoot it right, there's really no stopping that ball.
Well, the fans here at Bethlehem are loving it from their team, and it has really been end-to-end action here at Lehigh University's Goodman Stadium. We've seen crossbars, we've seen spectacular saves, and we could see another goal yet as Kerr in some space, or rather that was Herzog chasing it down. And Bethlehem going to clear it away, as both teams' back lines have looked a little porous at times. There's been a little bit too much space given, and that's probably why we've had 2 goals inside of 27 minutes.
That's what happens when both teams are very attack-minded. That's usually the case. I mean, you give up a little bit when you're going up too aggressively, and which is great because it's entertaining soccer, right? We're enjoying it. Obviously, the fans are enjoying it. You're gonna have a lot of highlights, but it does carry the risk sometimes when players go up too much, or they release the back, and it creates chances for the opposing team.
Romeo Parks. We mentioned before that Pittsburgh only has 3 games this season where they've scored more than 1 goal. We'll have a little bit more than 70 minutes to try to pull that off. Samuel clears that one away. Manko tracking back to try to pick up the loose ball, but unable to, and Pittsburgh will maintain possession. Soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com. Real gets ahead to it, but it falls for Herzog. Romeo Parks again. Brazilian Soto gets it caught at his feet. Danny Earls going out wide for Taylor Washington. Against his former club, going up against Joseph Samuel. Washington with a good ball in. Hugh Roberts cuts it out, but it's only as far as Herzog will let it run out for a throw-in.
I like the style that Pittsburgh implements. I mean, now that they obviously are tied up, they conceded the goal. They're looking to hope for possession. Obviously, they're going to be very patient with the ball now. They're going to open it up. They're going to take their time, and obviously look for those opportunities, the clear opportunities, without giving anything in the back. So I like how they play because they hold the ball well. They have a lot of talented players, and they all know how to hold. So it's interesting to see how they're going to develop the next attacking play.
Pittsburgh very patient here. Dave Brandt's side very much a possession-oriented club as it falls for Herzog. Herzog cutting up the defenders. It's a good step from Real. Falling for Walsh again, already with a goal to his name, and this time broken up by Chambers. And Wingate sending it towards Nanko, who's trying to bring it down. An extremely tough ball to try to bring down. But Adewale skipping away from the defender yet again. Now it's along for Gomez.
Great play by Gomez. Great move there. Obviously freeing up space and then just continuously holding the ball for Pittsburgh.
Fans, the USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date with all the latest league news and information by visiting uslsoccer.com and follow them on Twitter at USL. Washington along the line for Herzog. It'll be another throw-in for Pittsburgh deep in Bethlehem territory. Washington driving towards the middle, gets away from Samuel. Now it's for Parks again. Gomez joining the attack. Shannon Gomez finding Parks again. Thought about the shot, thinks better of it. Clips it over for Kerr. Back for Washington again. Good ball in from Washington, and Walsh's header just goes over the bar. Very patient move there from Pittsburgh, almost lulling the Bethlehem defense to sleep.
Exactly. Notice how they've been very patient holding the ball after they got scored on. Now every single time they want to approach the goal, they want to make sure they get the possession in, they want to get the touches, they want obviously smart touches. But it's definitely there. I mean, they're pressuring the ball. They're obviously pressuring Bethlehem's back end. So anything can happen with these opportunities.
16-year-old Thomas Romero keeping a cool head there and keeping possession for Bethlehem. And Steel FC doing a good job of breaking the pressure and inching their way up the field. Charlie Raymond. Still Raymond. Now Chambers. Going out wide for Matt Real. Looked like Hurd was tripped up, but Lauren Varga says play on. And now Bethlehem going to get called for the foul, and Lauren Varga not exactly a popular figure here at Goodman Stadium. Pittsburgh looking to operate quickly the other way. Kerr along for Gomez. He's been very busy along this right flank. One-touch pass along for Gomez. Kerr again. Kerr towards the back post, looking for Herzog. It's a jump ball, and Romero jumps above everybody and able to collect it.
Bethlehem is struggling here to hold possession after scoring the goal. They're looking to obviously create a little bit more. They should be more creative with their players, even though Chambers is holding well and he distributes exceptionally in the midfield, but they need to create more up top, maybe just get a couple more scoring opportunities for Bethlehem.
It almost seems like Bethlehem is just going to surrender possession, not only when Pittsburgh's in their own defensive third, but even inching up towards the middle third of the field as well. I mean, there are times when Bethlehem just fails to step to the ball, and Pittsburgh has all day to be able to pick out a pass.
And they do have an advantage. Pittsburgh, they're playing what, the 4-4-2. Obviously, they have one more in the midfield at all times. The 4-3-3 is obviously a little more aggressive, but yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it does happen to be that Pittsburgh has turned it up right after they got scored. On, so it's definitely making a difference.
Into the 34th minute, James Chambers from the penalty spot level things up after Siobhan Walsh got things started. Chambers scoring just minutes after Walsh's goal. Nanko trying to get away from Soto. Held up for a moment, still on his feet. Linking up with Hurd. Hurd thought about going for goal. Jamal Jack goes to ground. And it is going to be a foul against the big center back. Hurd down on the ground. It is going to be a yellow card for Jamal Jack, who's gone in recklessly on a number of challenges early on in this first half.
Yeah, it was a well-deserved yellow card. I mean, at this point, he knows very well he needs to be careful. He's a strong player, and every slide that he's going to attempt, he's going to most likely hurt someone. So, obviously, opposing players need to be very careful. I heard, and it seems like he got his ankle turned there, but well-deserved yellow at this point for Jack.
And now a dangerous set-piece opportunity for Bethlehem. And it will be the captain, number 45, James Chambers, claiming responsibilities. Chambers electing to put it on frame, but it's just over the frame as he was looking for that top left corner, just trying to bend it over and around the wall. It was a good idea from Chambers, but the execution not necessarily there.
Great attempt there. I would wonder if Bethlehem ever changes their set piece tactics with Chambers and also a player like Moir, who I'm sure could, whip a ball in really well. I'm sure they alternate, but I'm sure they have a little bit of a competition as well when it comes to chances to score, and that always happens in teams. You have great players with set pieces, and you always want to strive to get the best goal in there, but I'm just curious to see if maybe next time we see a free kick opportunity, we have a player like Moir take a shot.
Maybe it's a seniority thing. Chambers at 30 years old, Moir only 23.
And the captain. And
Absolutely.
the captain, absolutely. It could definitely be that.
Forward ball there from Wingate. Pittsburgh looking to take advantage here. Mahoney clearing that out. Moir letting it run through. Gomez up for the header. Gomez just running through the opposition.
Such a feisty player. He's dangerous. I mean, he's ideal on the flank. He's that player that you want up and down all day, tirelessly. He's a workhorse for Pittsburgh.
Here is Gomez again. It was a neat touch to try to get away from Moir. And Santi Moir, it looks like, is going to be shown a yellow card here.
Not for the handball. Maybe, did he respond? Or?
A yellow card has been assessed to Bethlehem Steel, number 38, Santi Moir. Yellow card assessed in the 36th minute.
So Santi Moir goes in the book here, being shown the mustard in the 37th minute. And I agree with you, Albert. It probably wasn't due to the fact that it was a handball. It might have been dissent afterwards, because that handball didn't seem like it was.
Because of the handball, for sure. Yeah, that wasn't an intentional handball. I mean, it looked like it hit his hand.
So Jamal Jack and Santi Moir now in Lauren Varga's book, as we are slowly but surely approaching the halftime whistle. Romeo Parks in some space, going for goal again. It's a good strike, but it's right at Tomas Romero, who's had to make another save.
These 16-year-old's been tested with Parks. Exceptional 2 shots on frame, one on the crossbar, obviously, and the other one straight to Romero. But great test so far for the 16-year-old, and he's done really well.
Parks has been all over the pitch for Dave Brand, and here he is again. Getting knocked down by Matt Real, and it will be another free kick for Pittsburgh, as Lauren Varga is going to have a conversation with Matt Real, who kicked the ball into some of the advertising stands there.
Just some frustration here from Bethlehem.
Well, they've certainly been on their heels for the past 10 minutes or so. Ever since James Chambers scored that goal, it looks like Bethlehem has sort of thought that the job is done at this point, as Washington sends it into the mix and Chambers clears it away.
He's long from done. Also, Pittsburgh, obviously playing away, I mean, they have a little bit more incentive. They have to make sure that they get this road win. Bethlehem needs to step up. Obviously, they're playing at home. They obviously have their home crowd. It usually hypes you up. Obviously, it motivates you knowing that you're playing at home. So we should see a second half. Most likely, it'll turn up here from Bethlehem.
Gomez stumbles a little bit. Allows Raymond to poke it away. Raymond sends it into the channel, but nobody there for Bethlehem, and Kieselbroom coming out of his area and will be able to collect for Pittsburgh, who are looking for their first 3 points since June the 22nd, after a win against the Tampa Bay Rowdies 2-0, where Siobhan Walsh and Romeo Parks were the goal scorers. Good ball in from Nanko. Now Hurd trying to skip away from about 3 Pittsburgh defenders, but has it taken away.
Interesting how we mentioned before, starting maybe 15, 20 minutes into the game, that Bethlehem had a lot of possession on the game. After they scored, Pittsburgh definitely picked it up, and now they're obviously up in this possession match, roughly 53 to 46% in our stats. So a clear difference in their play, clear difference in their, obviously, energy. Going into the final minutes of this half, it's going to be interesting what halftime is going to bring for these teams.
Good defending from Pittsburgh, not allowing Bethlehem to play through. And here's Romeo Parks again. Soto going out wide for Gomez. Trinidad and Tobago native. Just looking for an option, and this is what I was referring to earlier, Albert. I mean, Pittsburgh is only 50 yards away from goal, and now here's Kerr finding Walsh. Walsh lining it up with his left foot. Had Romero wrong-footed, but it's always wide of the post, and it'll be another goal kick for the 16-year-old.
Soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com.
Real sending this one forward, cut out by Jamal Jack, and it'll go all the way back to Kiesel Broom, as things have certainly slowed down over the past 20 minutes or so, and after we got off to a rip-roaring start with Romeo Parks hitting the crossbar. Spectacular volley from James Chambers, a big save from Kiesel Broom in the first 3 minutes. It looked like we were going to have a goal-scoring bonanza, but now looks as if neither team is going to find a breakthrough.
Yeah, both goalkeepers have picked it up. Obviously, they've done well in their saves.
Herzog going for the curler. Oh, and it hit the post. Great effort from Corey Herzog, the former Nittany Lion. Almost grabbing a superb goal there, going for the curler.
We were just talking about how many attempts we've had and how many great opportunities both teams have had in this first half, and we were just mentioning Herzog been a little silent in the game, but now he picked up and grabbed that ball in a sweet spot, which is a perfect shot for him as a right footer to curve the ball to the second post, which is ideal. But overall, I would say that they did start so fast, so energetic, a lot of speed and a lot of flair, but obviously, even though you're 18 years old, 19 years old, you're going to start winding down towards the first half. So this is normal. This is obviously going to start upticking again in the second half, in the beginning, 55th minute. So I said I would ask you, Tyler, I mean, how interesting would it be to see if there's going to be any changes in the first half going into the second? Because typically coaches like to make their changes in the 70th, 75th minute, you know, due to fatigue or injury. But at this point, obviously, both teams are pretty sharp. Both teams are obviously playing well. You wouldn't want to see too much disruption from both teams. So if we see some changes, we'll probably see a little later. What do you think?
Well, it's just going to depend on how early Brendan Burke wants to go to his bench. And it looks like he might now, as Chris Wingate appears to not be able to continue. And there is going to be an opportunity for Brendan Aronson, one of the number of Philadelphia Union Academy players from the U16 team that have been rostered for today's game due to that friendly that Philadelphia Union are playing against Swansea. A number of the Union players who usually play with Bethlehem are not available today, so that's allowed Brendan Burke to be able to dip extremely deep into the young player pool that he has with the Philadelphia Union Academy. 7 different U16 Philadelphia Union Academy players are playing with this Steel team today. It's really unprecedented. And now Brendan Aronson, the first of the bunch to get his look. Exceptional.
I mean, he looks like he's 12 years old. He's walking in as a boy. He's walking in amongst men. He's going to have a taste of professional soccer. This is exceptional for the future. It's just incredible to watch as a former 18-year-old that played at the MLS level. To have this at 16, there's no words.
Well, you almost must feel proud in this moment, because your generation was sort of those trailblazers that were starting to play soccer at an extremely young age. And just like you said, you know, in the area that you grew up, there were barely any players who were signing professional contracts at that age. And now to have all of these academy players who clearly have the technical ability to go on and play, you know, it must be a great moment for players of your generation to be able to sit back and say, well, look what we did when we were playing, and now it's paved the way for younger players to be able to step in and do the same.
You couldn't have said it. You couldn't have said it any better, Tyler. I mean, absolutely. That's definitely a proud moment for us in our generation, and even the prior generation. I mean, you're talking about the John Harks, obviously the Kobe Jones, the people that I looked up going obviously into high school.
Claudio Reynas,
the Reynas, the Tabaramos. These are all my idols growing up. So I got the chance to play with them and against them in the MLS, and it's going to be the same situation now for these 16-year-olds playing obviously against the Josie Altidores, obviously who are in their prime of their career. So yeah, the generation just changes, but it's gotten so much developed, obviously, to the point where all these players are going to play professional at 16 years old. There's obviously 50 players in the pool now. Before, there was 5 players or even a handful of players just playing at maybe minor league levels, college levels, you know, aspiring to be college players. Now there's aspirations to play professional at a high school, so that's just absolutely incredible.
Here's Parks in some space again, elects for the chip for Herzog. Herzog trying to bring it down, and the offside flag is up. Just a few notes on Brendan Aronson. His birthday is October 22nd of 2000, so he's just 16 years old.
God. Graduating high school.
Has yet to make a USL appearance, so this is his professional debut as we'll take another look at that ball in from Parks.
There's a fun fact. I was literally signing my first professional contract when he was being born. In 2000, 2001.
Well, now you're just giving away your age, and that's
I'm
not going to help
35,
anybody.
and I'm proud of it. I'm proud of my 35-year-old age.
Pittsburgh electing to operate quickly off the set piece, as we're going to have 2 minutes of stoppage time added on to this first 45 minutes. Pittsburgh, again, have really dominated possession after the Chambers penalty kick that leveled things up in the 26th minute. Long for Taylor Washington. Washington driving towards the middle of the field, along for Walsh, going for a goal, blocked in front by Chambers.
Earlier we had said that we thought and we were going to predict a little bit more of a sloppy game just because of the energy, the youthful players. But it's been a very entertaining play in the first half. I mean, both teams have had their chances. They've created opportunities. They've played, obviously, through their strategies, their fortes. So overall, this first half, I'd rated a pretty decent score just because there's been a lot of creativity.
Chambers out wide for Raymond. Aronson still yet to get his first touch in his United Soccer League career. Mahoney driving forward. Long for Hurd. Out wide for Real. A seasoned veteran compared to the 16-year-old Brendan Aronson Matt Real is at 18 years old.
It's actually very important for the 16-year-old Aronson to come in and touch the ball before the half ends for his confidence.
Real sends it into the middle. Chambers looking to line it up, or rather, looked like it was Santi Moar trying to get a foot to it. Gomez. Herzog along for Parks, who's got plenty of space to play. Bethlehem need to be careful here not to give up a goal before going into the half. Gomez electing for the early service. Herzog bringing it down. Flicking it over the top. Romero off of his line.
I thought Herzog was going to do a bicycle kick there. He had a prime example of when you trap the ball with the back to the goal and it bounces right over your head, you're going to do a bicycle kick if you're a striker. He might have hesitated a little bit. He might have conceded that. Looked for the pass.
And that's going to do it for the first half of play here at Goodman Stadium at Lehigh University. Siobhan Walsh got things started in the 24th, and then just minutes later, James Chambers converted from the penalty spot, and that is where we stand after a spectacular opening 45 minutes. Albert, your thoughts?
Well, like I mentioned, exceptional play. Obviously, a lot of action, a lot of energy, a lot of creativity. We're hoping, obviously, this continues and rolls into the second half.
1-1 here at halftime, 45 minutes in the books, 45 minutes to go. We'll be back in just a few moments with halftime stats, highlights, and oh so much more.
What's better than an iced or frozen coffee on a hot summer day?
You're really cute and really
Nothing.
nice. I think we should go on.
Dunkin's got all your favorite flavors this summer. Keep cool out there, kids. America runs on Dunkin'.
The Lehigh Valley's largest selection of new and certified pre-owned vehicles in one location is Roth Rock. We have over 1,000 vehicles to choose from, an award-winning service team, ultra-modern facilities for comfort and convenience, and the best deals in the Valley. During the Drive and Discover event, drive Ram Bighorn Crew Cab or Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Sport. Your choice, only $249 a month. That's right, Ram or Wrangler, only $249 a month at Roth Rock. Roth Rock, Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, family owned and operated for over 57 years. Roth Rock, where the cars are.
It can happen over time or in a snap. If joint or muscle pain has taken you out of the game, we can identify the root cause of your problem and develop a sport-specific treatment plan to get you moving again. Over 400 medical experts strong, the region's only nationally ranked program. That's Orthopedics in Action at Lehigh Valley Health Network.
tickets, visit PhiladelphiaUnion.com.
It's go time at Dunkin' with 2 egg and cheese wake-up wraps for $2. Enjoy 2 freshly made oven-toasted wraps and keep on running all day long. America runs on Dunkin'.
Halftime here at Goodman Stadium on the campus of Lehigh University. Bethlehem Steel FC 1, Pittsburgh Riverhounds 1, as Siobhan Walsh and James Chambers are our goal scorers respectively. Tyler Terrence alongside Albert Munoz, as it has been a scintillating opening 45 minutes. Crossbars, posts, goals, and volleys all alike, as we'll take a look at some of the stats from halftime. And Albert, this is probably what we expected with Pittsburgh having the majority of possession as well as a number of the chances, but the only real stat that matters is the one up top, and it's 1 goal apiece.
Absolutely, and the second half is going to be entertaining as well, I hope. Possession obviously is clear. We did have an increase and an uptick in possession for Pittsburgh once it got scored on, which is great because they reacted. This is what you want to see from your defensive line here from Pittsburgh. Shots obviously are very equal, even though you have more shots on target on the side of Bethlehem. So there's been a lot of opportunities. And the goals, obviously, hopefully we'll see a couple more because we've had a lot of chances.
Well, it sure has been a fun opening 45 minutes. We hope the second 45 minutes are just as fun, if not more. We'll be back with some highlights when we come back.
We built the USL into the largest Division II professional soccer league in the world. And now the time has come to announce USL Division III, America's professional 3rd Division league, completing the U.S. pro soccer landscape. It's time for your town, your team, your game. D3 will fuel local pride and local passion, creating a new legacy for the beautiful game and inspiring its tribal following across the country. This is professional soccer, built on a disciplined financial model and operational excellence, featuring exciting venues to thrill fans, in hungry new markets yearning for the game. USL Division III, professional, passionate, proven. Pro soccer starts here, coming in 2019. For more information, visit USLD3.com.
I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
The opening half of the 2017 USL regular season has seen 2 teams emerge at the top of the Western Conference, with Real Monarchs SLC and San Antonio FC engaged in a duel for conference supremacy and potentially the USL regular season championship. San Antonio broke out first, putting together a 14-game undefeated streak, which included a 672-minute shutout streak to start the season. But the Monarchs' USL record 9-game winning streak, led by Sebastian Velasquez, has moved Real's new-look squad into the top spot as a showdown at Toyota Field on July 22nd closes in. The top of the Eastern Conference has also seen a clearly defined top 2, including Louisville City FC, a finalist in the Eastern Conference final the past 2 seasons, pushing for another high finish in the standings. City's hard-driving attacking group, led by Brian Ownby, Niall McCabe, and Cameron Lancaster, has thrilled packed houses at Slugger Field so far this season. But leading the pack is the Charleston Battery, whose 25th anniversary season features an attack that more than lives up to the club's cannon-bearing crest. Led by Romario Williams, the Battery lead the USL in goals, with the likes of Forrest Lasso, Justin Portillo, and Atula Guerra providing a strong supporting cast at MUSC Health Stadium. Williams' success has placed him in a duel with Reno 1868 FC's Dane Kelly in the race for the USL Golden Boot, the 2 Jamaicans producing some highlight reel finishes on their way to double-digit goals before the end of the first half of the season. Kelly's run of scoring in 6 straight games helped expansion side 1868 FC up the West Western Conference standings. Currently well positioned to take its place in the USL Cup playoffs, Reno follows in the footsteps of the likes of FC Cincinnati in 2016, Louisville City FC in 2015, and Sacramento Republic FC in 2014 in finding immediate success on and off the field. Poised to join that group in 2018 is Nashville SC, which has already built an impressive front office and hired former MLS Cup winner Gary Smith as the first head coach in the club's USL history. With more expansion news expected in coming weeks, the conclusion of the 2017 season not only provides more on-field highlights to thrill fans, but also set the course for the USL into the next decade as it continues to raise the bar across the board.
Still moving through halftime here at Goodman Stadium on the campus of Lehigh University as we are tied up at 1 apiece. Bethlehem Steel FC leveled things up via James Chambers from the penalty spot after Pittsburgh Riverhounds Siobhan Walsh got things started on an assist from NYCFC loan Shannon Gomez. We'll be back in just a few moments with highlights and second half.
Sales tax not included. Metro PCS.
You've lived with it for too long. That recurring joint or muscle pain that makes everyday tasks a strain and repetitive movement almost impossible. Why put it off? The sooner you seek treatment, the more options you'll have. The faster you'll be back in full stride. The latest non-surgical solutions. The region's only nationally ranked program. That's Orthopedics in Action at Lehigh Valley Health Network.
Lehigh Valley Insulation keeps you cooler in the summer, warmer in the winter. And with 19 years worth of satisfied customers in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, we've probably insulated one of your neighbor's homes. Our team of older home specialists delivers swift and efficient white glove service, insulating attics, exterior walls, and virtually any under-insulated areas, saving wear and tear on your heating and cooling systems while adding value to your home and providing year-round comfort that pays for itself. Take comfort in Lehigh Valley Insulation. Comfort that pays.
What's sweeter than playing Mother's Day with top prizes of $50,000? How about winning on the spot? Play Mother's Day, the new scratch-off from the Pennsylvania Lottery, and you could win on the spot. Keep on scratching.
The first soccer ball was kicked in Bethlehem in 1904. Now, 112 years later, it's time for the rebirth of Bethlehem Steel FC. Herbert's in the box, and there's the first goal in Steel FC history. For tickets, visit BethlehemSteelFC.com or call 844-STEEL-FC.
What's sweeter than playing Mother's Day with top prizes of $50,000? How about winning on the spot? Play Mother's Day, the new scratch-off from the Pennsylvania Lottery, and you could win on the spot. Keep on scratching.
Still at the big intermission here at Goodman Stadium. Tyler Terrence alongside Albert Munoz. Bethlehem Steel FC 1, Pittsburgh Riverhounds 1, Siobhan Walsh and James Chambers, all the goal scorers, as we'll take a look at some of the best moments from the first half. And Albert, there were a number of them, and we got off to a hot start right away early on, as it was Santi Moar and company from the Bethlehem Steel who are knocking on the door early on. This was a great opportunity from Chambers.
Entertaining play here by the Spaniard, connecting well with the Irishman Chambers on that volley. We had mentioned those are the types of volleys that you see from an aggressive attacker, but it's surprising to see such a midfielder strike. But again, long strike after obviously a couple from Pittsburgh here. Beautifully stricken ball here by Parks. Gomez, exceptional flank play, always consistent on the right, creating opportunities just as this one. Great cross right into Parks, who just finished exceptionally well.
And it was Gomez who got the assist on that Siobhan Walsh goal, as Romero was unable to come over and make the save. Siobhan Walsh with his third goal of the season. But Bethlehem would answer right back. It was a good ball in from Hugh Roberts. A bit of a controversial call, though, from Lauren Varga after this high foot call on Victor Soto.
I would say so. We discussed there. Chambers did obviously yield a great penalty here for him, but it was a controversy shot. He dove for a diving header. and then Soto just lifted his foot just to kick the ball out. So obviously I wasn't really sure if that was a penalty kick, but he earned it and he struck it well right in the corner of that goal. Exceptional shot here for a penalty kick.
Chambers with his 4th goal of the season, the captain leading by example and leading from the front, but Pittsburgh would have a couple of more opportunities before the first half was up. Romeo Parks seemed to be on the mix for everything, but this time it would be Corey Herzog, as this one just inches wide of finding the back of the net. Herzog virtually did not exist in the first half for Pittsburgh. Brendan Burke, are you happy with the performance that he had in the first half?
I would say I was a little let down. I mean, obviously expected much more from the player to watch. I mean, you've seen him in the past. He's been very creative. He scored a lot of goals. Hopefully he changes in the second half.
Well, we will take a look now at the upcoming schedule for the Riverhounds, and certainly a tough month of July to finish up, as you have the Rhinos, the Battery, and the Tampa Bay Rowdies, 3 teams who are inside of the top 8 of the Eastern Conference. A tough task for Dave Brandt's side.
I mean, they have that change. Obviously, they're going to continuously be going home and away, which is obviously healthy to go, obviously, and experience a different type of atmosphere from your home crowd. But they're going to have the same situation here for Bethlehem. Obviously, going to have different types of games. Obviously, a lot of challenges. Very important time of the season to get those away points. So it's going to be very important to see both these teams, how they react towards the second half of the season.
And a lot of Bethlehem fans, I'm sure, will have that game on the 29th circled against the Charlotte Independents. The Independents right now in 3rd place. They're leading New York Red Bulls 2-0 in that game against the side from New Jersey, as Pittsburgh is warming up and just sort of getting ready for the second half. If you're Dave Brandt for Pittsburgh, anything that you need to do differently heading into the second half?
I'm sure he had a good stern talking with Herzog, I would say. Just we had briefly mentioned him. He had a great shot at the end of the first half, but he needs to step up. I mean, he needs to be more present for his team. He needs to make a difference. Other than that, I would say that they will continue the flow of play that they've had, continuously playing with the flanks. I mean, Gomez has done an exceptional job. Parks has been very, very energetic. He's had great shots on goal, beautiful strikes. But I'd say overall, their tactics are yielding pretty well for them. I would say that other than Herzog maybe being a little bit more present, I think they're doing okay.
Romeo Parks and Siobhan Walsh have been carrying the load for Pittsburgh over the past few weeks, as Herzog hasn't scored since a game against Orlando City B about 4 or 5 weeks ago now. So he's looking to get back on the score sheet for Pittsburgh. And on the other side for Bethlehem, you've had an extremely young squad come out and produce a very solid opening 45 minutes. They've had chances. They probably should have about 3 or 4 goals in addition to Pittsburgh, who should probably have a couple as well with a crossbar and a post hit. So if you're Brendan Burke, I'm sure you have to be happy with the output right now. And in our phone call conversation with him earlier this week, he said that getting a point at this point with the roster that he has tonight would be a big win for them.
Well, I think it's been a great surprise, a positive surprise for Coach Burke. I mean, the youth has come out and brought a lot of energy to the field against his experienced Pittsburgh team. So I would say they've done exceptionally well so far. Obviously, they're going to hopefully, calm themselves down, maybe strategize now with Chambers in the midfield, who has a lot of experience, who's going to obviously guide them and lead them, and let the young players roam and obviously create. So hopefully second half for them is a positive one, and hopefully they have some chances.
Well, we did have a change right before the half, and it was Chris Wingate who came off, and Brendan Aronson, the 16-year-old born on October 22nd of 2000, who came on to replace Chris Wingate. So already one of the Philadelphia Union Academy players has seen action, his first professional debut. There you see Aronson on the backside of that Bethlehem huddle alongside of Charlie Raymond as well as James Chambers. And James Chambers, at 30 years old, is going to have to do a little bit of guiding. And you hate to use the word babysitting, but I'm sure that Chambers is going to be in Aronson's ear throughout the rest of these 45 minutes, just sort of giving the youngsters tips in where to be, how to, sort of just attack this Pittsburgh team who has at times looked porous and looked like they're going to concede.
First, like I mentioned before, hopefully they give him the ball immediately. He needs to get that first touch out of the way. He needs to get his nerves out. He's 16 years old. He's never done this before. He needs to make sure that he gets that first touch, does a right connect, obviously holds the ball well, and then, yes, Chambers will definitely babysit him. He will guide him. He will watch him and obviously protect him, because that's what he needs to do. His experience, he needs to obviously influence him so that he could come in and create. So I'm sure the attack-minded player that he is, he will potentially be a great threat for this team in the second half.
And that's what Brendan Burke mentioned earlier in the week as well, was that you can't just throw in these young players, these 16, 17, and 18-year-olds to carry the load. You want to be able to have players like Chambers, like Chris Nanko, who are going to carry the load offensively and as well as defensively. If this is a defending player, we're talking about Ben Aronson up top. But having those older players just allows for somebody like Brendan Aronson to just be able to do his job and get through these 45 minutes, maybe contribute here and there, but just to simply keep the ball and link up in the attacking third, not have to do too much, because that's where you can start to get a little bit iffy with the player's confidence.
Oh, of course. I mean, you don't want to get them to make too many mistakes in the beginning. So you need confidence, obviously, as a 16-year-old, to just get the ball and make sure you create. When I was 18 years old and after my first professional game, I can never forget, I had a player, I'm not sure if you've heard of him, his name is Pibe Valderrama, he was a Colombian superstar. He gave me his first pass because he knew very well, he was 38 years old at the time. He knew very well that he needed to bring in an 18-year-old into the game and give him the ball immediately. I grabbed that ball, I got that first touch, I passed it right back to him, and then I moved on, because that gave me the confidence to know, hey, I trapped the ball well, I didn't lose it. This is what they need for these 16-year-olds, to have 30-year-olds playing with them and guiding them. So I agree with you 100%, and this is going to be a trickle-down effect, because all these players that come in now, the 7 of them, the 6 of them that come in, and the rotation that they have, all of them are going to gain this experience little by little, and then by next season, they're going to be a threat for their team.
So Siobhan Walsh is down, and it forces the physio to come out and check on Chevy. Looks to be some sort of head injury, and that's probably why the athletic trainer was rushed onto the field so quickly, and heads up call by Lauren Varga to stop the play if it's a possible head injury. As it looked like he might have just got hit in the jaw, but he's going to have to come off the field momentarily. It looks like he'll be able to continue, but we'll have to wait to find out exactly what the story is on Siobhan Walsh, who is the goal scorer for Pittsburgh during this game and has 3 goals on this season. As the other 16-year-old on the field, Tomas Romero, will start things off. And it's tough to think, if you're James Chambers, that if you combine the ages of Romero and Aronson, they're just barely beating out James Chambers, who's 30 years old.
Exactly.
But it's such a great opportunity. And again, we mentioned before, but it just bears repeating as Aronson gets his first touch and a nice little pass out wide for Real. Just bears repeating that it just goes to show the vast improvement of the beautiful game in this country, and how many young players are taking it seriously, buying into these academies at a young age. And while it is taxing, and this is a big opportunity for Aronson to play in front of a couple thousand fans here at Goodman Stadium, but that's the experience they need, and that if we want to be able to grow this game in this country, get onto the big stage. As Aronson on top of the ball here in the attacking third, still Aronson looking for an option, great pass for Nanko. Nanko dancing, goes out wide for Real. Real lining it up, going for goal, and Broom makes the save. But good work from Aronson to be able to hang on to the ball in a tight area and find Nanko.
Exactly. Everything you just mentioned, obviously, I completely agree. The development of the country, soccer, US, it's here. It's moving forward, and it's only going to get better. Imagine 5 years from now, imagine 20 years from now. I mean, this is only going to grow. It's only going to get better. But players like Aronson, who just had this first touch, his 3rd touch now, who've done no mistakes, only created well. He's probably going to get his 4th touch now, but he's going to ride on high confidence, ending this game, obviously in the next game if he has a chance. And this is what they obviously need, and hopefully they continue to play the ball to him.
Real going for early service again. He was looking for Josh Hurd. It was a decent ball in, but cleared out by Pittsburgh and all the way towards Tomas Romero. Fans, stay up to date on the latest USL news and information from around the league. Tune into USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on SiriusXM FC, Channel 85. Also, don't forget, SiriusXM FC will air the USL Game of the Week. Please check USLsoccer.com for dates and times. Walsh does well to bring it down. Long for Herzog. Walsh making a darting run, creating a little bit of space in the middle of the park. Romeo Parks stripped away by Chambers, but the loose ball falls to Soto.
Such a dangerous player, Parks. I mean, he's obviously physically, his presence is exceptional. He's an athlete, he's strong, he's tall. But his footwork, obviously, he holds the ball really well. He knows how to dribble. He takes great shots, so he's very dangerous, Parks. Very surprising to me. I hadn't seen him play earlier in the season, so it's a great surprise for this team.
Well, when you first take a look at him, he almost looks like he's too tall to be playing up front, that he should probably be playing defender, but he reminds you a little bit, and now take it with a grain of salt, obviously, but maybe of a Yaya Toure. Just in the middle of the park, can get forward, just sort of glides around the pitch. Never looks like he's in a full sprint, but he's able to get it done.
Tyler, great comparison. Absolutely. That's very well, obviously, very well compared. I mean, those are the type of players that they're hybrid players. They're tall, they're strong, they're fast, but they're technical. And this is what you need. These are the type of players you don't want. You just want athletes. You don't want players that are just fast and run after the ball. You want them to be technically sound. That's absolutely great.
Now we're having a conversation amongst Pittsburgh and Bethlehem as they're telling Pittsburgh and Romeo Parks to send it out, as Bethlehem is going to give it right back to them.
Good sportsmanship. Not sure what happened. I mean, was there a call before? I mean, I'm not sure.
Didn't look like there was a player injured, as still trying to figure out exactly what was going on. Looked like it might have been an issue with the ball. You could see them checking it for error. It might have been a flat ball that they were playing with, and they just sort of wanted to get it off the field and get on with it. As here's Romeo Parks driving forward a little bit, now putting the brakes on. Fending off the much smaller Brendan Aronson. Now here's Gomez getting forward. Gomez finding Walsh. Walsh with a nice turn. Walsh going for goal, and it's just over the bar. Very savvy play from Siobhan Walsh, turning the defender and going for goal.
Great lead up here by Pittsburgh. As we mentioned, we're highly talking about Parks, who's holding the ball well, passing out to Gomez, who's done exceptionally well to hold the ball and create. Walsh is on fire. He's obviously hot, needs to get the ball at all times. He's taking great shots. So this is great for Pittsburgh. Obviously, they need to continue this type of play.
Charlie Raymond just hitting it into an area, giving Pittsburgh some problems here as Adewale clears that out. Parks with a great touch to bring it down and just fending off Matt Real. And there's sort of that Yaya Toure effect again, where you just sort of keep yourself between the man and the ball.
He's so strong.
And just able to hang on to it. It looks effortless, but it is extremely difficult. I guess not as difficult if you're about 6'4" and weigh 210, but.
He has a slight advantage against Aronson.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. But speaking about Aronson, I mean, he's put in now in a slot where, like you mentioned, he doesn't have a whole lot of responsibility defensively, where he's tracking back slightly, but his main focus, he's in the middle of the park. He's playing like that second-hand attacker / attacking midfield. So any ball he gets, he's going to create. So that's going to be an entertainment player to watch, because he's going to hold the ball well. And as you can tell, he's been slotted into the position today, not only because he's 16 years old, but because he has a lot of promise. And players that have promise, they give him a chance. And he's going to have the opportunity now to really step up and maybe cement himself in the starting 11 if he continues well. Something going on with the ball today. This is the second time to stop the game. That should be frustrating for players. You don't want your momentum to be stopped.
Well, the one thing that usually is a certainty on the field during a professional soccer game is the ball that you're playing with, and when it's not, it certainly is frustrating.
From what I can remember, at least they have at least 6 to 10 soccer balls ready at all times. They're all pumped to regulation, so I'm not sure what's going on here.
Well, unless Tom Brady's in on the mix, then you never know.
I don't know what you're talking about. Wrong sport.
What? That's football too, isn't it?
It is, actually. We had this conversation before.
We did. We won't go there, though. We don't have not enough time left in the game.
Let's watch Parks ball it up in the midfield.
Bit of an iffy touch there from Earls. Jamal Jack just clears it out, but only as far as Mahoney, who gives it right back. Soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com. Siobhan Walsh again and on the mix, laying it back for Parks. Parks lining it up, but this time always going over the bar.
Normally I would say that's an ambitious attempt, but that was not from Parks. I mean, Parks is traditionally known for his long-range shots. He's had 2 already today, on frame, 1 on the crossbar. He needs to continue, and he has a lot of confidence on his shot, so power to him. Obviously, he continues to hopefully create those opportunities for himself.
Chambers with a good distribution, finding Nanko in the middle of the park. And we did see a lot of possession out of Pittsburgh, and now it looks like Bethlehem are going to take the reins in that category for the start of the second half as Aronson.
4 good touches. 4 or 5 good touches on the ball. I'm tracking him on purpose. He's a 16-year-old. Looking out for him.
Kieselbroom thumps it the other way. Chambers up strong for the header. Adewale doing a good job of stepping. And now here's Kevin Kerr. Gomez overlapping. And that'll be easy work for Tomas Romero. And it seems like Gomez just has a never-ending engine on that outside right flank as he was flying up and down that side the entire first half and continuing that good pacey play on the outside, getting involved in the attack. And it's become such an important part of the modern-day game, those outside backs getting involved in the attacking play, overlapping, creating space. Even if you don't get the ball, it creates room for other players.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, it's a relentless position. You're constantly running up and down. You're expected to be the striker and left back or right back at all times. You're not even a midfielder. You're constantly an attacker or a defender. So it is very physical. You're constantly running up and down. So yeah, it's very underestimated, that position. And the way that Gomez plays, who's very technical as well, it's very entertaining to watch.
Here's Real. Real going for goal. Not able to find the frame. And Albert, you were pointing. You were hoping that he was going to slide it through for Aronson.
I didn't want to call the game, but it seemed like Aronson obviously had a nice run in the midfield. He seemed to be alone, and that slotted through ball, which is what I used to always look for as an attacking midfielder, was that slotted through ball. It kind of looked open to me, but hey, he's on the field, I'm not, right? Can't control his feet.
Well, I guess the good news is for Bethlehem and just for this club is that was an 18 and a 16-year-old leading the attack. So it speaks volumes to the player development of this club, of the Philadelphia Union, as well as the Bethlehem Steel, and just how well they've done in terms of grooming young players and just the ability to be able to throw them on and have success. I mean, enough can't be said for the growth of the development of young players in this country as it's sent again for Joseph Samuel. But Adewale turning away from pressure and does well and sends it the other way. But Pittsburgh have had trouble just finding their foot on the ball and just being able to keep possession.
Yeah, second half has been as energetic as the first. I mean, we've seen a lot of opportunities, a little less shots, but creativity is there for both teams.
Washington clips it into the area, but it's cut out by Mahoney. This is where Pittsburgh like to press. When your back is towards goal, they're just going to go right after you and make you send it long, just like that as Danny Earls collects it. Pittsburgh trying to hang on to it. Romeo Parks again.
Little miscommunication there by Parks, with Parks. But nevertheless, Pittsburgh obviously has turned up in the last couple minutes. They're obviously looking to hold the ball. Parks has been steady. He's a very stable midfielder, technical as well, linking up well with Kerr, obviously, who's been a workhorse. Gomez, as we mentioned, we just needed that one more goal. Need that creative chance here that potentially put him up top.
Almost an hour played here at Goodman Stadium. If you're just joining us, Tyler Terrens along with Albert Munoz, as Siobhan Walsh was the goal scorer for Pittsburgh in the 24th minute, and then just a couple minutes later, James Chambers earns the penalty and then buries the penalty to level things at 1, and that's where we stand at the moment for now. Joseph Samuel driving forward, lays it off for Nenko. Nenko lining it up, but that's never going to trouble Broom, as it was always wide of the left post. But Bethlehem and Pittsburgh have fancied their luck from long range this evening.
Yeah, they have a lot of confidence in the long-range shots. I mean, both players like Parks and obviously on the opposing side, we have players like Nenko, who obviously has a strong shot as well. Moir, who's been a little silent in the second half. They have great shots. Chambers, as we saw in this free kick. They definitely always like to see these shots being taken because obviously you're challenging young goalkeepers.
So Danny Earls, the Irishman, comes off here in the 60th minute, and he is replaced by Stephen Okai. As that's the first substitution of the evening for Dave Brandt, former head coach at the Naval Academy as well as Messiah College. Falcons in Division III, won 6 national championships with Messiah, and then went on to the Naval Academy where he would take the midshipman to the second round of the NCAA tournament, as well as a Patriot League championship, and now finds himself in the United Soccer League, looking to continue his fine coaching career. For a big 3 points on the road. Fans, the USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date with all the latest league news and information by visiting uslsoccer.com and follow them on Twitter at USL. Okai goes out wide for Gomez. We get a look at Dave Brandt. Very hands-on coach for the Riverhounds as Park is held up. And he knew exactly what the call was going to be from Lauren Varga, just sort of stopped, not allowing for advantage to be played, and feeling that Pittsburgh has a good chance from the set piece.
And Kerr's known to whip it in really well. He has a great right foot. I've seen him take a lot of free kicks. Herzog obviously is a player that they're going to look for. Obviously Parks up top.
It's a great ball in. Herzog was trying to bring it down. Probably would have been better served just going for goal there. It's cleared out, and it will be a corner for Pittsburgh.
I would have definitely expected a right-footed volley there by Herzog. Maybe he didn't expect it. Sometimes you get caught. You never know if the defender's going to trap the ball or head the ball off. So you're kind of unexpected. So it took him a bit to react with that trap.
Okai goes all the way back for Washington. Now to the other side for Soto. And that's a wasted opportunity for Pittsburgh. And when you play the corner short, there's always the expectation that's going to be sent in, because it's just a wasted opportunity if it's not.
It's like any other play. I mean, I haven't seen one properly placed corner kick here by Bethlehem or Pittsburgh today. I mean, most of them have been short passes. And I don't typically agree with them. I like the actual threat of a corner kick, because you have tall defenders who come in for the header, and you're obviously going to be a threat against the goalie. So
Soto with great footwork, linking up with Walsh. Kerr trying to return pass. It was a great idea, but it is going to be offside on Chevy Walsh, who is the goal scorer for the Riverhounds on the evening.
Going back to the comment you mentioned, Tyler, about being a hands-on coach, and I have a lot of friends growing up that played either high school, college, and some professional that are now coaches in the youth level and some professional levels. And it's such a gratifying and fulfilling position for these coaches now that are coaching all these levels, all these players, because of the fact that they're making changes, obviously, in these players. They're influencing them in a certain way. And obviously, when you get a win, and when you're on the road, and you have that mentorship relationship with your players, that's usually very gratifying. So I just think of my friends that are now coaches, and I just saw him, Coach Burke, just being very, very intense and wanting to be on the pitch and wanting to obviously help him as much as possible. So it's definitely gratifying to see that in our USL league here.
Dave Brandt is a coach who has a very specific vision on how his team wants to play, and he gets his players according to what that system is, sort of like Greg Popovich with the San Antonio Spurs, in terms of he wants to play this way, and I'm going to get players who will play this way. He's not going to tailor his style for how the players play, and he is extremely aggressive in terms of defending and providing pressure, and then is very possession-based oriented when going forward with the ball. As Pittsburgh surrender it here, Josh Hurd on top of it. Referee says play on.
Well, that's pretty intelligent, because that usually works in the coach's favor. I mean, you're obviously tailoring a team around your technique, around your style, what you want. You're usually going to have a favorable result.
Chambers did well to spray it out wide. Now linking up with Nanko. Nanko driving towards the byline, gets the cross in. It goes all the way across the face of goal, as Kiesel Broom wasn't able to get a fingertip to it. However, it'll be a Pittsburgh throw, and it was a good idea from Nanko, who had Soto beat for pace, but nobody home on the back post, as we are into the 65th minute here at Goodman Stadium, still tied at 1-1.
Game slowed down just a little bit. Obviously, a little less chances here from both ends, but possessions there at both ends. They're looking to create, but it's definitely slowed down for the last maybe 5 to 10 minutes on both ends.
Raymond was trying to find Aronson. Good job from Kerr as he went to ground, but none of his teammates there were to help him out. Bad giveaway there from Aronson as Okai picks it up. Now Walsh along for Herzog. Herzog has Parks running with him. That's who he chooses. Parks just trying to bully his way through, but has it taken off of his foot, and it'll stay with Pittsburgh.
Parks looked there like George West, George Way, I'm sorry, former African player. Just so strong on the ball. Obviously, just trying to penetrate through any defender he could find himself in front of. Entertaining player, Parks. I enjoy watching him so far today.
Washington.
'65th minute. I mean, you're looking at the next 5 to 10 minutes for both teams here to make some changes.
Here's Gomez. Gomez going for goal, blocked in front by Mahoney, as you heard a number of his Pittsburgh teammates telling him to shoot. It's out wide again for Soto. Walsh in the area, and the service is denied. And it'll stay with Pittsburgh. Bethlehem doing a good job of sacrificing their body and not letting the ball get all the way through. Walsh fending off Aronson.
Never stood a chance there, Aronson.
Washington for Herzog. Back for Washington again. Shannon Gomez trying to bend it in. Raymond gets there. Kerr. Either trying to put it in or put it on frame, but either way, it will be a goal kick for Romero.
Now that was ambitious. I would assume he tried to cross that ball or just get it on frame to maybe penetrate the goal there, but typical of Kerr, he likes to curve the ball towards obviously an unrunning striker to maybe put some pressure on Romero here.
Substitution for Pittsburgh exiting the game, number 10.
And it looks like Kenroy Howe is going to come on and replace Kevin Kerr here in the 68th. So one more substitution left for Dave Brandt, 2 more left for Brendan Burke, as the only sub that he's made was Aronson for Wingate right before the halftime whistle, as Wingate was unable to continue. Nenko spinning away from the defender. Fans, the USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date with all the latest league news and information by visiting www.uslsoccer.com and follow them on Twitter @USL.
Pittsburgh being very patient with the ball now in the last few minutes. Trying to open up space, looking for their wingers, looking for their attacking players. They need to develop more in that final third, obviously, if they want to get more shots off Walsh and Herzog.
Goes out wide for Washington again. 1v1 with Matt Real. Goes back for Howell. Parks. Finding the former Bethlehem man, Washington, who bends it into the area. Herzog looking for it. It got all the way to him, but Raymond able to clear it out. And Bethlehem seemed to be content with the way that the scoreline reads right now. And when we were talking to Brendan Burke, he wasn't shy about saying getting any sort of point out of this match would be a win for the team, given the circumstances, as here is Howell trying to drive through it. Squirts back out to Parks.
Well, I mean, he's expecting his young team to obviously have, you know, more of an experience than anything. Maybe potentially get a goal or two, but he wasn't really expecting them to come in and maybe score 4 or 5 goals. I think he's obviously content on the way they're playing, but they could always improve, and they could obviously create more goals. So hopefully at this point where he sees the potential of his team, he's obviously hoping for a better result.
Pittsburgh being extremely patient here. Soto going for goal, blocked in front by Mahoney. As Bethlehem are trying to come out, no foul from Lauren Varga. Aronson doing a really good job of fighting on the far side and ends up winning the ball back. But Netko's dispossessed, and now here comes Pittsburgh the other way with space. Parks. Disrupted by Hurd for a moment.
Like 4 or 5 battles in one sequence. Turnovers as well. Takeaways. Great challenges here.
Shannon Gomez once again. Sizing up Moar. Taylor Washington, the outside back. Hasn't been within 30 or 40 yards of midfield in quite some time. Clips it in, hoping for Herzog. Walsh trying to bring it down. But there's Josh Hurd with a cool head bringing it down himself. Fans, stay up to date on the latest USL news and information from around the league. Tune into USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts, Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on SiriusXM FC Channel 85. Also, don't forget SiriusXM FC will air the USL Game of the Week. Please check USLsoccer.com for dates and times.
Interesting challenge here by Chambers. I mean, obviously he did follow up. He did scoop him up a little bit. I mean, he's arguing because he's going to be the captain. He's going to want to argue with the referee, but he knows very well that that's going to be a clear foul.
Now we're going to have another substitution from Brendan Burke. And it is going to be Tiger Graham coming in and replacing the veteran James Chambers. So the captain's day is done here in the 72nd minute. Or rather, it's going to be Joseph Samuel who he replaces. So James Chambers will stay on for now. And it will be Tiger Graham coming on.
I was just going to mention, I don't think that change would have been too favorable for Bethlehem at this point, taking out the captain Chambers, who's done really well today, who has experience.
Number 53, Tiger Graham.
Tiger Graham making his professional debut.
And it takes place in the 73rd minute.
Graham out of Paoli, Pennsylvania, as Washington driving towards the byline. Roberts cuts it out, and it will be a corner for Pittsburgh. Graham, just 18 years of age.
More youth, that's great. And I'm hoping, obviously, Parks gets a nice cross in here with his dangerous right foot. Potentially looking for the head of Herzog. But it seems like they're keen on the short pass, huh?
Parks delivers a good ball in. Ball headed down, cleared out by Roberts. Back for Siobhan Walsh, but Aronson gets a foot to it and clears it away. You can see Brendan Burke on the far side just waving his team forward. There's a bad ball, Kiesel Broom coming out, and he clears that away. Chambers sending it forward. Jamal Jack having some problems with it. Chris Nenko trying to cut back, taken down. No call from head referee Lauren Varga. As Nenko trying to sell it on the other side, but Varga not buying any of it and will play on.
I think Nenko got a hand, if anything, that we can't see. But that usually does happen sometimes. The after effect of the swing, when you're turning, he might have got a hand to the eye. And of course, he's going to try to sell a penalty kick, but he might have gotten stabbed in the face or in the eye, worse yet.
Herzog again for Romeo Parks. Parks bending it in, but Hugh Roberts yet again to the rescue. He has been extremely busy cutting out service and denying the supply.
I'm going to look here at Nenko's good pressure. He's so quick and he's dangerous. But he definitely got a hand to the face. I mean, unfortunately, it's not going to be yielded a penalty kick, but that it's there, the contact was made. He tried to sell it, but unfortunately, it wasn't called in his favor.
And I'm sure Jamal Jack would say that that's more of a love tap than a foul.
He's just so strong.
Washington has it poked away, still able to maintain possession. Parks for Howell. Herzog encouraging Gomez forward. Shannon Gomez already with 1 assist, clips it in. Siobhan Walsh looking for it. Matt Real gets there first. Romeo Parks bringing it down, but Aronson cuts it out and now sending it into space. Tiger Graham just trying to thump it forward for Santi Moar, but goes all the way to Kieselbroom. But a good idea from the youngsters just to try to get moving.
That was his first touch. I mean, I believe he had a good idea on the ball here. Good turn, good through ball for Moar, who's making that run. And great pass from Erison, obviously, who's been very confident. He's lost, maybe he's been dispossessed maybe once or twice in the game so far, but you can't ask for more for a 16-year-old.
Soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com, as there is a nasty challenge from Victor Soto, and that is going to be mustered for the Brazilian as he goes into Lauren Varga's book here in the 76th, and it'll be a free kick for Bethlehem.
A little frustration as well on part of Soto's end. I mean, obviously he reacted a little late. The ball was obviously turning while he's turning. There's really no chance for him to really, you know, stop or refrain himself. So at the same time, I don't think it was an intentional foul, but at the same time, he did obviously cause some harm there.
So Bethlehem sending some numbers forward here, feeling that they might have a chance to go ahead in the 77th minute now. Chris Nanko sends it in. It's a good ball. Jamal Jack clears it away after he was sprawled for the header. Siobhan Walsh leaves it off very nicely for Parks and sent into an area for Chevy Walsh to run onto it. Plenty of green to gallop into for Walsh. Chevy Walsh 1v1 with Real. Still Walsh trying to find Herzog, and Chambers does really well to clear that away. Aronson trying to fend off Okai.
Aronson's still very light. He needs to protect the ball a little better there.
Good tackle from Hurd as he's away trying to find Tiger Graham, but Jamal Jack with a good step read the play the whole way. Last touch will be off of Bethlehem's Santi Moar.
Going back to that previous play, great attempt here by Pittsburgh, working with Walsh, who made an excellent run. He conceded a pass to Parks, who hit him a beautiful long ball. And unfortunately, he couldn't get a shot off. It seems like he was frustrated to get, obviously, to the end of the third field here, and third end, and then potentially turn. He just kept getting pushed out. So great job by Bethlehem as a defensive side here.
Romero sends this one out wide for Real, but it goes over his head. And it'll be back for Pittsburgh as we are really into the last knockings of this one. A little more than 13 minutes to play, including stoppage time.
And this is usually where your coach influences you and motivates you. This is the last, 13 minutes or so. You're obviously looking for more motivation. You need to be inspired. Time is running out. Obviously, you're tied. You want to make sure that you try to get at least another couple attempts to get on goal, because these are the decisive moments. These are the road games that you want to make sure that you take advantage of for Pittsburgh.
This one sent ahead again for Walsh. Mahoney does well. Romero off of his line, and he clears that away. Fans, the USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date with all the latest league news and information by visiting USLsoccer.com and following them at USL on Twitter. Okai with some space. Laying it off for Parks. Parks thought about the shot, now goes out wide for Gomez again. Shannon Gomez. Jamal Jack stepping forward. Everybody getting involved in the attack for Pittsburgh.
As you mentioned before, Bethlehem obviously being very defensive at this point. Just making sure that they keep that 1-1 score as much as possible. They've backed in. Obviously, they've closed up their gaps in the back. Obviously, Pittsburgh obviously is going to have to go through the wings to really try to create some flank play, to create some crosses if they're going to have a chance to score today.
Romeo Parks to take the honors on the corner. Pittsburgh looking for a breakthrough. They feel like they probably deserve and need all 3 points on the road against a very inexperienced Bethlehem team, as Romero gets a fingertip to it. Did extremely well there. Back out to Soto. Looking for an angle, back for Okai, and they'll have to restart. Washington towards the back post.
You hear the fans really get into it. It's great to see. The local fans. And Pittsburgh's definitely stepped it up with shots. I mean, 15 against 8 against Bethlehem here.
Josh Hurd committing the foul there, and while it is a professional foul, just a hold-up play, it would be dangerous had Pittsburgh not elected to play quickly, but they do, and will play on. Washington towards the back post. Helped along by Raymond. It'll stay with the Riverhounds as Bethlehem, having made a couple of substitutions, bringing the youngsters on. And you don't want to say the play has dropped, but Pittsburgh has really been on top of the ball for the majority of the last 20, 25 minutes of the second half.
Yeah, the possession shows. I mean, you're looking at 56% against 40 and change. So absolutely, you're going to see a difference of uptick here in pressure for the last 10 minutes. Pittsburgh definitely wants a goal. They obviously want to get a road win here. It's Bethlehem's job to make sure that they defensively continue to be sharp.
Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com.
Hurd clears it away, and Bethlehem really having a tough time getting out of their own end here. But as it stands, the 7-match unbeaten streak would stay alive, and it would move to 8 if they're able to gather a point out of this Keystone rivalry matchup. Soto fighting for it. It's still Soto. Hurd has to be careful. The Brazilian with some neat footwork, getting away from Chambers, but only momentarily as the Irishman wins the ball back and sends it towards Nanko, but Adewale is there and then thumped forward. Tiger Graham giving chase here. Taylor Washington in on the mix, lays it off for Real as Washington and Graham get tangled up. Now Real goes out wide for Santi Moar. Haven't heard his name in a while. Santi Moar going for goal here. It's a great shot and it's just wide. Superb idea from Santi Moar, and you can see where Bethlehem is dangerous. They can hit you on the counter in the blink of an eye. Great opportunity from Bethlehem.
And you hadn't heard from him in a while, but when you do see him grab that ball, he's very dangerous with that right foot. He cuts in very well from the left-hand side, and he has a great shot on goal here. Such a skillful player. I mean, we want to see more of him. Hopefully in the last 6 minutes, 10 minutes, he's obviously efficient.
We do have a player down for Bethlehem, as it looks to be Santi Moar, who just had the recent opportunity for Bethlehem.
I think he got knocked when he took that shot with the right foot.
And we're going to have another substitution for Brendan Burke, his final of the evening. Freeman Duamena
will be number 38, Santi Moar.
Coming in, and Santi Moar will be replaced after cramping up a bit here. And it's another youngster from the academy for Brendan Burke who's coming on.
Now entering the game for Bethlehem Steel, number 56.
Or rather, not Freeman, but it's Seth Kuhn who comes on.
Also looks 12 years old.
Is brought to you by Lehigh Valley Health Network.
He's not 12, but rather 17 years old, Seth Kuhn from Wyomissing, Pennsylvania. Making his professional debut, so the three substitutes who come on for Brendan Burke, all making their professional debuts here. So what a moment for Philadelphia Union Academy as well as the Bethlehem Steel, just in terms of producing these youngsters who Brendan Burke and the powers that be within the club see fit to be able to play at this level. And a moment that they will certainly never forget on July 15th of 2017, getting their professional debut.
Oh yeah, all three of them are going to go home today different man. I mean, that experience you get, you're just going to come into that locker room next week and practice, and you're just going to have that confidence. So hopefully they give him the ball quickly, get that first touch out of the way as well. I think it's coming up now. There he is.
First touch for Kuhn. Kuhn driving forward, shows that touch a bit too much to Howell. Now it's Aronson trying to link up with Real, but those two not on the same page. Jamal Jack driving forward, fending off Graham and Aronson. And it was almost a great idea there from the recent substitute, Kay Banjo, who just came on.
winding minutes, Tyler, here. Both teams need to create whatever they can. They need to obviously have some more chances. They need to get some shots on frame.
Kuhn sending it through for Real. It's a good idea. Ball was a bit out of his reach. Last touch off of Pittsburgh, so it'll stay with Bethlehem. And now the fans here at Goodman Stadium might be sensing something. Seth Kuhn electing to play short, but Jamal Jack was down first, so the referee blowing it dead.
Notice how these youngsters that came in, Aronson and Kuhn especially, they're both roughly 5'7", 5'6", 5'7" in height. Not tall, strong players. They're very technical. So these young players coming in, obviously they're very speedy as well because they're very quick. That style of play is going to make a difference. Obviously, it doesn't really matter how tall you are. I mean, in my own experience, I was always one of the smaller, shorter players, but my quickness and my vision always superseded the strength that I lacked. So it's good to see these players getting this experience at this age because they're obviously going to always be able to go to the gym and work out and get strength. Obviously, put some muscle on. Which comes with time. Obviously, they're 16 as well. They're just young boys. So it's promising to see what their future may be in the next year or two for these players.
Chambers does well just to hang on to it. He was asking for a foul from Lauren Varga, but he's not going to get it. Must have said something to the referee that the fans like, because they're applauding the Irishman captain for Bethlehem. It's a good service in from Seth Kuhn. From the right corner, the lefty whipping in a good ball, forcing Kieselbroom to get fist to it. Walsh trying to slip it through for Herzog, and he's had a frustrating evening. Hasn't really been able to find the ball, and it seems like Bethlehem have really been keened in on what he's able to do, and it's no wonder because Brendan Burke has known Herzog since he was about 14, 15 years old, coming through the Pennsylvania soccer program.
That's a huge disadvantage for Herzog as well. They know him, obviously. He's created a fame of being a very dangerous player. So they're going to mark him man-to-man, and he's been very, very silent today. So it's a combination of him obviously being marked really well, and at the same time, you have other players who have really picked up their pace, not depending on him solely to attack. So players like Walsh and Parks who have been exceptional today.
Raymond putting the brakes on, and Bethlehem, you can tell from the past 25, 30 minutes or so, have really been comfortable with the concept of getting a draw, and their lack of throwing numbers forward has really been indicative of that. Roberts directing traffic here. Just has to send it to the corner. It's a good ball, but it did go out of bounds. And Bethlehem will have to retreat here as we are into the 89th minute. A draw, a win, and a loss between these two teams in 2016. The first time they're meeting up in 2017. And it looks for all in the world that we are going to finish with a 1-1 draw. And it would keep the Bethlehem unbeaten streak alive at 8. Pittsburgh looking to get their first win since June of the 22nd. Here's Washington, matched up with Kuhn. Okai going out wide for Gomez. Herzog. Here's Okai again. Romeo Parks in some space, now closed down, sending it along. And Romero coming off of his line, and that's sort of been the story for Pittsburgh this evening, was being able to inch up the field, getting within 25 yards, but Bethlehem closing the door once they get anywhere near the goal.
Oh yeah, that's a great job on their end. I mean, they know very well how lethal Parks is on a long range, so they had to close his shot down immediately. If not, he was potentially going to get a goal in tonight.
Tiger Graham hunting down Kieselbroom and forces Broom to send it out of bounds. Real getting forward now.
There will be a minimum of 3 minutes of
Trying to find Neko. That pass goes awry. Chambers providing pressure to be able to win it back for Bethlehem. 3 minutes of stoppage time added on to the 90. Bethlehem trying to hold on for a point. Pittsburgh probably feel like they should be able to get 3 against this inexperienced Brendan Burke side due to a number of injuries and call-ups to the first team.
They weren't expecting such a good mix of veteran leadership and obviously youthful players. We have Chambers, who's done exceptional to lead the team with these 16, 18-year-olds. So they weren't really expecting that.
Here's Neko after the turnover. Neko going for goal. And that one was always going wide as he never really quite wrapped his foot around it, but a good chance as we head into the last 2 minutes of stoppage time here, and then we're getting some cramping as well.
Along with their spontaneity, obviously the fact that their element of surprise, they can take shots from anywhere, these young players. Obviously Nanko has more experience, but these young 16-year-olds, obviously the Kuhn that came in, obviously Aronson, who's been playing really well, they're just so surprising. Obviously they have the flair, they have the creativity. Those type of players, they're unexpected, so you really don't know. You have to be very, very careful that you don't want to give up any turnovers in the midfield for them.
Chambers wins it back. Now Tiger Graham. Long for Aronson. Takes a bit of a heavy touch. Chambers getting stuck in, and he does extremely well. Now it's Nanko again. Pittsburgh, or rather Bethlehem, trying to go for all 3 points here. Josh Hurd trying to keep it for Brendan Burke's side. And last touch off of Bethlehem, and now Pittsburgh with some space. Romeo Parks driving forward. Out wide for Herzog. Herzog sends it through. Romero off of his line, and he's able to make the save.
Came up very strong, Romero, here in the last potential plays of the game. Exceptional presence here for the young goalkeeper. Shut that ball down really well.
It was Kay Banjo who was in on the mix, but like you said, Albert, Romero just doing a good job of cutting down the angle. Nanko up for the header. Probably the last opportunity for Pittsburgh as they're moving forward. Romeo Parks trying to slip it through, but it's cut out by Raymond. And could this be the last play of the game? Bethlehem moving forward. Chambers finding Aronson. Goes out wide for Nanko. Now here's Graham in some space, chipping it through. It's for Aronson, but it's just out of his reach. And that might do it, as the final whistle has to be on Lauren Varga's mind. And that's going to do it from Goodman Stadium. This young Steel roster gets it done, and they earn a point against their Keystone rivals, the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. The unbeaten match streak continues for Bethlehem. It is now at 8. Pittsburgh continue to struggle to be able to find 3 points in consecutive games, as it was a frustrating second half for both teams, you could probably say, on the offensive side of the ball. Albert, your thoughts?
It did slow down definitely in the second half, but first minutes of the game, they both have a lot of opportunities, a lot of energy, entertaining soccer, a lot of youth, a lot of experience mixed in. I can't complain. I mean, this is an exceptional game to watch. Both these teams should be pretty proud, except Pittsburgh obviously wanted that road win, but Bethlehem did stand up and get that tie, so good stuff for them.
Well, 290 miles separate these two teams geographically, but nothing could separate them on the pitch. 1-1. We'll be back with highlights and stats when we're back.
You've lived with it for too long. That recurring joint or muscle pain that makes everyday tasks a strain and repetitive movement almost impossible. Why put it off? The sooner you seek treatment, the more options you'll have. The faster you'll be back in full stride. The latest non-surgical solutions. The region's only nationally ranked program. That's Orthopedics in Action at Lehigh Valley Health Network.
season has arrived. The Clubhouse Grill and Bethlehem Golf Club have teamed up with Service Electric TV for a chance to win a day at the golf course and lunch at the Clubhouse Grill. Go to our sectv.com website, click on the link, and like us on Facebook. You'll be entered to win a golf foursome plus carts and a $100 gift card to enjoy at the Clubhouse Grill afterwards. This promotion runs through August 15th, so like us and enter today. Service Electric, the Clubhouse Grill, and Bethlehem Golf Club, teaming up to bring you the best summer ever.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes, and you come to mine. This is it, first impression, my way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
Sponsored by Lehigh Valley Health Network.
Full-time at Goodman Stadium at the campus of Lehigh University as Bethlehem and Pittsburgh. The Keystone rivals played to a 1-1 draw. Chambers and Siobhan Walsh, Warrior goal scorers Tyler Terrens along with Albert Munoz, as we will take a look at some of the best moment from tonight's 90 minutes. And Albert, it was a fun 90 minutes.
Again, I can't emphasize on the fact that we had so many youthful players, so many young players coming in and making a difference. And going through these highlights, right off the bat, you have both these teams, making a dent on their plays. Great cross here by Moir, looking for Chapman, who exceptionally made a decisive volley, who almost scored a beautiful goal.
Kieselbroom coming up with a big save there, as he would have a number of those to try to keep out of the net, as he would do a good job throughout the 90 minutes. And then this strike from Romeo Parks almost found the back of the net.
We talked about Parks throughout the whole game. What a difference maker. I mean, decisive midfielder, spraying balls, always creating and just taking lethal shots from long range.
And then this would be the initial breakthrough here in the 24th minute. Gomez doing a good job finding Siobhan Walsh, who tucks it away.
Beautiful play. Gomez, beautiful cross, penetrating through ball here. And then Walsh, who just executed the ball exceptionally.
Romero unable to get over, and Siobhan Walsh scoring his 3rd goal of the season. But then this would be a decisive play just moments later. Chambers putting his head in there, getting the call for the penalty, and the captain leading by example, stepping up and able to bury it for Bethlehem to tie things up at 1.
Controversial penalty kick, but hey, he yielded himself a shot and beautifully struck ball by the Irishman, who scored a beautiful goal here.
Kieselbroom unable to keep that one out, as we would start to find our way towards the end of the first half. Romeo Parks driving the other way, and then Corey Herzog with probably his best and only chance of the game, hitting the post there with the curler.
Yeah, we had a couple more attempts throughout the game. I mean, overall, it did slow down on opportunities in the second half, but nevertheless, Herzog was a little bit silent. He had his opportunity. And as you see here, Nanko penetrating the defense, very dangerous, and he tried to sell a little penalty kick here, but just Jack, I guess, might have got a little contact in his face. The referee wasn't going to go ahead and call a penalty on that.
So Nanko unable to get the referee, Lauren Varga, to buy into that one, but Bethlehem would have a couple of chances later on, as it was Matt Real driving forward, and it would be Santi Moar who would go for that similar shot that Corey Herzog did, going for that far post, but just going wide of that right stick on the backside. And then one more opportunity right at the last for Kay Banjo, but Thomas Romero doing a good job of stuffing him and cutting down the angle.
And great job of both goalkeepers on both ends. I mean, they really stood up and they made their differences. And this man here, Chambers, who in my eyes really led the team, a very young team, he did really well.
So a 1-1 draw is how we would finish at the end of 90 minutes, as we will take a look at some of these stats from those 90 minutes. And you have to imagine that Pittsburgh, and they were the dominant team in possession. Both teams certainly had their fair amount of shots. Bethlehem actually had more shots on target, forcing Kieselbroom into a couple of big saves. But your thoughts?
Well, I would say possession is clear. It really did represent the whole game. Pittsburgh really had a chance to really hold the ball well. Lots of shots on both ends. I mean, not a lot of quality shots from Pittsburgh, but at the end of the day, they scored 2 goals, obviously, each. I mean, 1 goal each, 2 goals for the game. Entertainment and development for all these youth players, experience, that's my take from the game.
3 players, 16, 17, and 18, all getting their professional debut here, as you see some of the Pittsburgh players saying hello to their respective families who made the 290-mile trip, as Pittsburgh's next game will be against the Rochester Rhinos next week, Saturday, on July the 22nd at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, as they will take on Bob Lilly's squad at the Capelli Sports Stadium. Pittsburgh looking to bounce back from 2 consecutive draws after this one, and then previously against OCB. And Bethlehem on the other side are at Richmond, and they're looking to exact revenge on a kicker team who came in here and stole a point away from them a couple of weeks ago. They felt like they definitely should have gotten all 3 points, so they'll be taking on the Kickers on Saturday, as well as Bethlehem signing autographs and the like. As we have a final here from Goodman Stadium, it is 1-1. Both teams earning a point. Bethlehem keeping their 8-match unbeaten streak alive. Pittsburgh with back-to-back draws as Bethlehem stay inside of the top 8 in the playoff picture. Pittsburgh still on the outside. Looking in for our fantastic crew and for my broadcast partner, Albert Munoz, I'm Tyler Terrence with a final score from Goodman Stadium. Bethlehem won and Pittsburgh won. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you soon.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent from the United Soccer League.